Welcome to Immediate Review.
We just saw Wonder Woman 1984. Okay, so we're joined with Person A, and all three of us are massive fans of the original film. Like, we freaking love it. We once drove 5 hours to go see it on 70 millimeter. And really looking forward to this. One of our most anticipated films. And yeah, Person A and I have already seen it, but Peter has not.
Yeah, this was my first viewing.
Spoilers, by the way. We're just doing spoilers.
Spoilers.
My fucking god, this was a just massive disappointment. A stain on the DC movie
which is pretty dirty.
I don't even know where to start with this. This was just cheesy and hammy and
not
just
in a way that worked.
And yeah, it was just bad. That's my general thoughts.
I'm just not down with the lonely, sad Wonder Woman only wanting Steve Trevor's dick for the last 70 years, and that being the huge crux of this story. Not down with that. 70 years!
Okay, yeah. My general thoughts. I got a little list here I'll go over real quick. So yeah, the movie is trying to be Superman 1 and 2, and it feels like Superman 3. One thing I really hate that a lot of people aren't really talking about is I hate Hans Zimmer's score so much in this movie.
Bad.
Right off the bat, in the first 3 minutes of the movie, it's just and I feel like I'm watching a Titanic or fucking some shit, which I love that movie, but the score just does not work at all.
It doesn't fit anywhere in this. Maybe in some of the tense, kind of broody scenes, but there's only 3 of those, and maybe
Cheetah's
the entire
theme
movie
does not work with the scene where it's introduced.
Not at all.
It should have been I know it's the obvious thing to do, but it's you're fucking an 80s movie, do it. It should have been a funky techno type thing. I mean, the trailer had a New Order song, and it was awesome. It got us so hyped, and here we get this weird, crazy throwback to 70s superhero cinema combined with fucking a modern score that's lazy as shit and sounds like Lion King mixed with Titanic. I really, really hate the score in this movie so much. Steve was a huge mistake. I think Steve is the biggest mistake this movie makes.
Why?
Most of the problems come from Steve. Diana's shitty motivation, weird rapey questions about Steve inhabiting some guy's other body. And it's pure fan service. They were great in the first film. I know, it was amazing. But move on. You killed him. Own it.
I'm so sick of superhero movies not owning death as a thing.
And literally, it's there's some serious rapey connotations going on here between especially at the end.
And it's at first it's fine, and then at the end she's like, I had sex with you and you don't know it.
It's when he shows back up at the scene, it's so just your outfit. I've seen your entire wardrobe. It's weird.
It's gotta be traumatizing for that dude too. He basically lost who knows how much, a week, 2 weeks of his life, and then he just wakes up in the middle of fucking chaos.
Wait, what happened? We all wished for shit.
Who dressed me? Where have I been? And nobody fucking recognizes this guy? No one.
My body hurts bad. It feels like I've been in 5 or 6 big action sequences.
Oh my god, I've got broken bones and a hickey, and when did I get that tattoo? What the fuck? That dude is gonna experience some serious trauma from that.
No, yeah, and some of Steve's lines are so fucking awful.
It's trying to be a throwback to an 80s rom-com. It's trying to be an 80s rom-com body swap with Superman.
And it's the one that got me the most, I just thought was so hilarious, was Diana. They're in the plane, and Diana's the one thing I never understood is your gift, flying, and he's just it's easy. It's just like wind and air. It's just wind and air. And it's easy.
It's like anything.
It's just like anything. Aerodynamics, flight, all of that. It's just like anything. You know, it's easy.
Don't do those powers in Justice League.
Nope.
I like Pedro Pascal's hamminess in this, and like the sketch of the character is good. But they go way too over the top, convoluted villain with this,
and
it becomes a
out.
save the world plot, which is probably another huge mistake. Is that not only does it create mistakes within the continuity of the overall story that's being told, but it's just save the world plots are fucking boring. It's just we've seen it a million times.
And why there's that like, is Batman in the future gonna be like, remember that one time when I was a teenager?
Everybody!
This happened?
What did you think of Max Lord and Daddy Issues?
Okay. He's not fleshed out enough at all. It's like why is he searching for this thing? Why has he been searching for it so long? Why is there a receipt with his name in it at the bottom of the thing from the FBI? Who were the guys that stole from the jewelry store? Were they working for him? Were they not? It seems dicey. He automatically knows it's at the Smithsonian, so it's clear that he was probably working with them. How long has he been looking for it? Is that his only
The entire
reason for
movie
doing
is like this, where
the corporation? Was he ever a good guy? Because it doesn't seem like it. He sure has been researching this fucking stone for a while. Why didn't he actually try to do it?
How did he know to make a wish to combine himself?
Why would he tell Wonder Woman that he turned himself into the stone?
How did he find out that it existed in the first place? We know none of this. None of this is explained.
Comic book nerds, if you have any background knowledge, comment below.
What do you think of Max?
I mean, I didn't hate him. I just thought that, like, his character motivations weren't really like super fleshed out. Like he doesn't even really know what he wants. He's like, oh, I want oil, and it's like, oh no, now I want power, now I want this and that, now I want organs.
My body's deteriorating.
The whole idea of like, I get it in like the sense of like, he wanted to control the outcome of the wishes, so like that's why he combined himself with it, even with the detriment of everything. It's like, it obviously was not fucking worth it. So it's like, why did he, like, if he's done this much research, like person has pointed out, like, why did he do it?
When I saw Max Lord was going to be in this, I was like, cool, mind control, psychic powers, shit where Diana's going to have to problem solve and where she could get mind controlled and maybe did it. None of that. They didn't go that route at all. Instead, it's a magic fucking stone.
I mean,
it makes wishes.
And yeah,
I wanted
the whole
mind
premise
control.
of the movie, like the lesson, the arc, is to like to move on and let people like who are dead be dead. But it's like that's the lesson she learned in the first one when she had to let him go and like he blew up and she's like, okay, I gotta live on.
One of the many
forever.
lessons.
Yeah, 70 years I've just kind of been moping on that, and then now
and chilling out in the same place and letting people see her as Wonder Woman.
I hate that she doesn't have her sword and shield at all. I really hate it. It's so dumb. The lasso physics looks so bad. I feel like they were trying to avoid it looking like Spider-Man. Like at first, when I first saw the movie, I thought it was just looked bad, but like, I mean, it does look bad, but it feels like they were purposefully wanting her to have this like glidey, stiff motions, and it just does not work. It doesn't look good.
Especially the scene in the mall too. Like physics don't really apply to Wonder Woman. She kind of just like flies around and has tons of momentum and grabs people,
and
but they don't have the same momentum, and it just
it's just like
it's
like she's able to latch onto a guy and then fling him back, but in such a way that like
nothing
with
really
physics he would have flown over and she wouldn't have gotten any.
Like even the scenes where Cheetah was like really flexing and like making herself feel strong, nothing really felt like strong, like impactful. Mm-hmm. And in all the scenes in the trailer, which is I think probably the most disappointing thing for me, is that fucking trailer that we watched, because it cuts all the best parts of the movie into this epic fucking action sequence with the soundtrack that's just amazing. And then the movie like cuts them all into a bunch of different like segments. We get this awesome scene of like her fighting in the White House and like doing all this fucking awesome shit, and then in the movie she's like super weak and she's like struggling to deal with, and it's like all this action scene that we've built up in our
Steve Trevor uses a fucking platter to block them from bullets.
Like literally, it's just like, what is going on?
I think that is honestly the best sequence. Sadly,
it's like sequence. And that's the thing. The writing is so like kind of bland and mundane that it it picks up when the action happens because it's like, okay, I'm fucking bored as shit. Let's get to the fucking action now.
And then the action scenes happen, and you're like, oh.
And then and it's kind of just like, you know, like when the scene on the highway happens where she like launches herself in the air in the trailer. So fucking hyped for that, and like literally when it started, I was just like, wow, like this is how they're doing it.
Yep.
Man, I was actually kind of looking forward to this scene, and like
and
you know,
her running looks
just
weird
like,
because she's running. She looks like she's running normal, but she's going super fast. Like it looks like she's at a light jog.
Yeah, and
She's on
and
a
they
treadmill.
do like they have like these green screen or like almost like matte painting like effects that they're using where she's like really just like really sharp, like really fucking digitally sharp, and it's just like. I don't know. It just I don't know. It's just like
it gave me action blue balls for sure.
yeah.
What'd you think of Cheetah personally?
Also mad about the so much potential with Cheetah, but was squandered on a stupid wish stone.
I didn't understand her motivations either. Really,
wanted to be cool
she wanted
and
to be
likable
cool
and
and likable
like
and sexy,
Diana.
and like Diana, and she gets that, and she loses like her personality, and it's like her personality was the most valuable thing, like not her life or fucking anything else.
And it's also like she's like a good character until that happens, and now she's just kind of
she does nothing wrong.
No,
absolutely
she
nothing.
Is like originally she's like a spoiled fucking archaeologist, white savior. I'm gonna go in and find this thing of your god, and I'm so pumped up that I can totally handle this power. And
Yeah, and there's a scene where she's bad for beating up the guy who sexually assaulted her.
And it's like playing music. And it's like, no, I want to see her beat the shit out of him. And then the other guy's like, Barbara, what are you doing? It's like, that dude assaulted her twice.
Literally,
she totally is
He
chill.
approaches her like, where were we?
Seriously, she has every right to kick the shit out of her, but Hans Zimmer is like, no, you're supposed to know now that she's bad because she's kicking him down the street
and it's
like a
it's like
can.
the soundtrack isn't bad. It's not bad. It's just misplaced.
Yeah.
It's just not in the right spot. It doesn't fit anywhere, and it just throws the whole tone off of the movie. It feels so like triumphant, and there are bad things happening, and it's like, why are there fucking like violin and horns playing in fucking major keys? Like, what is going on? Like, it's just tone deaf. Like, it doesn't know what it's trying to express, and it's so like hallmarky.
Can we talk about the invisible plane for a second?
Yeah, what do you think?
Bullshit! First of all, they steal it. Wonder Woman's just cool
That
with like
sequence
straight
is a
up
fucking
theft.
mess.
No, but she has a fucking key card to get in there, so they know that she's the one that. What the fuck? How does she have clearance to an airport and then she steals a jet and then it's like, oh no, and it's Steve Trevor flying it, of course.
It's just
and then
when
she's like, I made a coffee cup invisible once.
50 years ago.
50 years ago while trying to... It's like you've had all this time and you haven't like expanded on your powers because you've been so sad about Steve. And then now she can make the plane invisible and that's supposed to be Wonder Woman's invisible plane. Bullshit.
That she'll never use again.
That she'll never use again. She'll never use the power to make anything invisible again.
But she learns how to fly, I guess. So
But yeah, which she'll also never use again.
That was the moment, the first time we saw the movie, I was still like, okay, this is significantly worse than the first film, but let's see where it's going. And that was the scene that I was like, nope, this sequel's horrible. Final thoughts. I think the first film is just such a... You gotta compare it to the first film. Like, I've seen some people say that, you know, oh, you can't. It's like, yeah, you fucking can.
It's a sequel.
It's the sequel, and it's made by, like, the same person. So the first one is just a simple, well-executed hero's journey with fucking lovable characters that all have great chemistry and an interesting mix of like modern war, maybe, you know, modern for 100 years ago, and like swords and sandals, action, epic. It's a superhero movie where like she doesn't have a secret identity. It's just so unique and awesome. This movie is just like every single superhero movie ever. And it's just not fucking up to par with the first film, like, at all. Like,
yeah, I mean, this movie just, I honestly just felt like the soundtrack and the writing were just its detriment. It just it didn't focus enough on what it needed to focus on. I think that the entire movie needs a sound rework, complete sound rework from the ground up. Literally mute everything and start over. One of the things that frustrated me with the writing was like when he goes to get the stone from I forget her name, from Cheetah, Barbara. They have this scene where he like grabs it and like puts it behind his back.
After he already asked her for it, and she was like, "Oh, I don't know."
But then in the next scene, when they mention it, it's just like she's like, "Oh yeah, like he borrowed it, like I let," and it's just like, why did you take the time to show him like being like, "Oh, what's that?" and like making out with her and inching his way closer so he could steal it? If later in the fucking same scene that you weren't going to show us, you were just gonna be like, oh yeah, he was just gonna ask her to take it. Because I was like making jokes like, oh yeah, now he's got it behind his back. What's he gonna do now? It's like they're making out he's gonna need to use that left hand for something. You know, she's gonna find out that like he's got it, and that's exactly what fucking happens. And it turns out
Thompson.
Why show us that he's going to steal it if you're just going to change the narrative later and not show us that? Like, you could have easily written that conversation into it and had it been way more compelling than him just like, and you know, it's stuff like that. I think
there are
is
too
a
many
perfect
things.
example of just like of tiny little problems that build up into a movie that is just lackluster and disappointing.
I don't normally like to like be like, this is what I would do. I normally just like to look at a movie on its own, but this one has so many almost cool setups and missed opportunities and bad choices that I just can't help but wish for another.
Thompson, I swear to fucking God.
Jesus Christ, Bear.
I just can't help but wish for another movie, and I think we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, years of expectations.
I know,
smashed
right?
to the ground.
Here's the good news. Birds of Prey was awesome.
Yes.
So there we go. And we got more Wonder Woman to look forward to in Justice League, and there's that too.
Is she gonna fly though?
Probably not.
The Snyder Cut reshoots Wonder Woman flying.
Anyways, guys, thanks. See you guys later.